That keeps giving again. That keeps giving again. Believers keep believing. It's the gift that keeps giving again. Oh shit! The Catboy Cammy, that guy, got he got an article in the Daily Mail for being an asshole. Good for him. What a fucking dunce. Believers keep believing. It's the gift that keeps giving again. That keeps giving again. Alright, what do we got here? Alright. I'm fucking tired today. And I know why. Alright, hold on. Let me get the chat up. Less than 100 pages. There are 10 more chapters. And if we stick to a chapter a day and power through that one chapter that's got to be like 20 pages long that I know is up in there. Although, honestly, it seems like for the rest of the days, it'll just be an average of about 10 pages a chapter, which is doable. We can do 10 pages a day. It takes me about 4 hours to edit 10 pages. So, yeah, hopefully this is a short chapter. I got corned beef that I cooked up in the kitchen. I want to go eat it. And, yeah, I got leftovers from last night and fucking all kinds of things that I would like to do. But they are all on hiatus. Let me see. It was a new batch of cold brew. I think it's the Atomic Blend. Coffee, where would I be without you? Well, looks like it's getting real here in the United States. All y'all in Europe, now that you're over with this stuff, you're doing the right thing, not having the Americanos come over there. I think in general it's a pretty good idea if you have a country to keep American people out of there. I'd probably add the British to that too, but you know what I'm saying here. Lord have mercy. So I had to fix our screen. It was messed up for I don't know how long. Anyhow, let's try and get into it right here. So I think this is a relatively short chapter right here. It might only be like 2 or 3 pages. I'm just trying to remember what all happens here. So this is Lemon Baby and the Electric Lady by Zak Zyz. We're all the way to chapter 77. You made it somehow. 77 chapters. And this is indeed the final day that's going on. By the end of these 10 chapters, the story should be resolved. This is 77, General Gary, 5.7, 7:47 a.m. in Chelsea. So this is actually a real Home Depot. That's on the corner of 23rd Street and, no, it's not the corner. It's like near 23rd and 6th Avenue. And I've been inside it many a time. It's funny because it's got like an escalator inside of the store, which is kind of weird. Like those of you who live out in the Midwest and so forth, you don't have no escalators in your fucking Home Depot. But that's how they got to do. And like all the electrical stuff is downstairs. Yeah. General Gary. Gary's army practically runs itself. So many of them used to be soldiers. Yeah. I don't like that. It turns out it's not that hard to run an army. Turns out, it's not that hard to lead an army. So many of Gary's men used to be soldiers. So many of Gary's men used to be soldiers. Gary can patch together 1,000 recollections of Vietnam, Somalia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Nicaragua, Bosnia. Oh, big Skip Donahue. I'm gonna be sad to see you go, young Mixer. It's weird, but like I did get like 2 or 3 viewers off of ye old Mixer. I can't believe that we. I can't believe we made it 82 days of this whole thing. I think the YouTube description should include the whole title. Well, great. We're a little late on that one. You mean the title of the chapter for each one? What we do need to do is go back through the YouTube videos and one by one retitle them so that they correspond to whatever. But I think it would make a lot of sense to have each one have the chapter title in it when we do the whole thing. I did so much work on Gravid. Oh, by the way, we sent Gravid off to a publisher that has open submissions right now with that like fancy cover letter that was vetted by the title of the novel and the description of the whatever. All right, I mean, I'll take that idea. Oh, hold on. Actually, let me see if so I tried to turn back time here. All right, let's see. Yeah. All right. I just reconnected the account right there. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, it's really annoying that we can't use the word brand the way that I want here, just because it's like, oh, I'm a brand manager. Fuck off. Fuck off. I work with brands. I would love if everybody who worked with brands was just like branded by a cattle brand. Oh, Love it. Deepest kind of memories. All right. So let's, now that we've rewritten, let's go back over this. Turns out it's not that hard to lead an army. So many of Gary's men used to be soldiers. Mm. Mm-hmm. I know we were about to like not rewrite, but then I like the concept, but I don't like how we're saying it. Usually a mix of the three. Gary, I really like that. Gary's learned there are three prime motivators to be homeless in New York City: drugs, insanity, and serving in the military. It's usually a mix of the three. It's usually some combination of all three. Gary can patch together 1,000 recollections of Vietnam, Somalia, Afghanistan, Iraq, Nicaragua, and Bosnia. Da, 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 da. God, I'm just realizing that we have to like typeset and work on this entire. At least, so I'll tell you one nice thing about this manuscript. While we're paying compliments to each other right here, at 130,000 words, people are like, okay, you know, there is a point where you deliver a manuscript to somebody, and it's like fucking 150,000 words, 180,000 words, 200,000 words. And the first thing that they're thinking is, okay, fuck you, right? And really and truly, people are thinking that. They're thinking, fuck you for putting the onus of this monolith on me. Like, for me having to take into my consciousness your excessive outpouring of verbiage, you cocksucker. I know that's the case because I would think it too if I was working slush. I fucking hate working slush. But 130,000, really, like, closer to, like, you want to be under 125,000. We're not going to get there. I do not like cutting scenes out of books, as you might have seen over this whole thing. But we're going to be a lot closer than, like, fucking, you know, when you drop gravid on somebody, gravid has gravity. You know what I'm saying? The printed book would be fucking, hold on, be like fucking this. You know what I'm saying? Like this level of, we wouldn't print it so big, but nonetheless, it's a big motherfucking book that, I don't know why I'm cursing so much. It's, you know what it is? Because I'm like a little upset that I've done this to myself there. Yeah, I don't have high hopes for ever publishing that thing, and I know that it's just going to be so much work to put it out myself, and really expensive too. Unless I start dating another editor. Hint, hint, like women, men, non-binary, whatever. Like, get at it. Yeah, I would. It's a book that you would buy in print just because it's so fucking big. You know, you put it on your coffee table. I wonder if marketing, I have to like make it seem like I'm some kind of fucking intellectual, like a, you know, because people will put up with David Foster Wallace's horse shit, and he doesn't have anything super compelling to say. I'm sorry, but you know, yeah, infinite jest, more like infinitely jacking off. Honestly, masturbating all over those pages. Well, anyhow. I haven't bought print books except mine in a long, long time. Yeah, well, I try really hard to make the print copies like as nice as I can. You know, I'm just an amateur with this typesetting stuff. But anyhow, all that experience gives Garrett. So Spathy Was says it's about knowing someone who can push it through the sphincter of publishing. There are certain people who, if they introduce a novel to an editor or a publisher, it just gets printed. No. It's really not how it works. Because I know publishers, right? And keep in mind, like we're not talking about when we say like print something. What we're talking about is not just, you know, the act of, you know, like waving a wand and making it happen. It's somebody saying, okay, let's spend $70,000 on this, right? And I understand, like, at a company, like, where, you know, it's not your money that you're playing with, there's, like, a little bit more leeway on let's spend $70,000. But at the end of the day, these people are all still accountable for their decisions. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is going to print a book at any kind of, like, mass market scale where they don't have a significant expectation that they're going to recoup at least nearly all of their investment in the book, and hopefully recoup a little bit more. Like they might pump up a first-time author where they think they have significant long-term potential, but usually like they're not even thinking that way. It's much more common for a house to just be like, you know, we're doing this one book and that's it. There's some like multi-book deals, but it's more like genre fiction for people who are doing trilogies and horse shit like that. Yeah, the idea that there's like rainmakers in the industry that can just shove shit through, like no matter whether it's good or not in my experience. And if those people existed, I would know them. Like I would be involved in that seamy underbelly. So again, I can only talk about publishing in America, primarily in New York City. It may be a very different deal in London. And London has like their own sort of publishing culture and so forth there. But, you know, I have met enough people that if it were possible to do that shit, I would already be sucking their dick. So, yeah, because I'm not above taking the sinister route. I mean, not that, you know, that's obviously not the greatest tool in my arsenal. I'd probably have to murder somebody for them. Or, you know, just make them disappear or something like that. You know, let's keep the big M off of our editing stream there. But, you know, instead, you know, just like everything else that I've ever done in my life, we're going to do it the hard way. People like Random House, where he knows for a fact in the UK, that's very, very different. Because I know people at Random House US, right? And some of these are like high-level people and executives and so forth. And even somebody where, let's take the example of a guy who really wants to bang like an attractive cookbook lady or something like that. Her cookbook still has to be potentially profitable for him. He might lead her on or something like that, but like actually printing the book and so forth, because you're talking about an order, and we're doing something with distribution to the major book chains, which I know is worthless at the moment, but we're talking about placing an order for just in printing costs alone, like especially with like a cookbook or something like that. We're talking about between $30,000 and $50,000 for the initial print run in China. And then if you're doing any marketing whatsoever, like I think if your marketing budget is under, maybe they have like a 10 grand budget for whatever. And I mean, keep in mind, like when I say 10 grand budget, like a lot of these people, like publicists and so forth, are already working for them. And it's not like you're doing radio jingles and so forth. But yeah, a lot of these they're going to try print ads. They're going to try placement on YouTuber videos and shit like that. They're going to make an effort. And like all that shit is hard to do. I know, because I've tried to do it and I'm not good at it. So the other part of it too is, that book is good. I don't need to be fucking beholden to some Faust to get it published. It's good. It's just big, and it's good enough that if I can't get a reasonable deal for it, we will just put it out. It's just going to cost me $4,000 to get it edited. And $4,000 is like me, like being please, solid editor. And the hardest part about it is like a woman has to be involved. Honestly, editing altogether, I would prefer a woman to be involved in general. That's my preference, but yeah, that's the thing. They want your soul for it. Because keep in mind, I'll tell you what, like if we're talking about Rainmaker type situations, like, oh yeah, I'll get you published. Yeah, I'm sure anybody who will change up a bunch of shit in their book so that it reflects like what the person involved in the industry wants, yeah, like absolutely they can get shit rammed through because they're like sending through some hodgepodge abomination of horse shit that is stroking the ego of whoever. I gotta tell you, man, and it's not wise to say on a stream there, but there are very few people I've met in publishing who I have enjoyed as people, for the most part. And most of the people who I like in publishing, get the fuck out of publishing. It's a terrible industry. Everybody is depressed, like all the fucking time. Like I don't know anybody who works in publishing who isn't like at least significantly depressed. Even the newfangled houses where everybody's got that fucking soy boy grin and the like, we're working on things that we care about and we're passionate and so forth. Scratch that with like a thumbnail and you'll just find like under that oily layer of clown makeup as deep fucking depression. And a big part of that depression is like they get into an industry where they love what they're doing. You don't get into publishing unless you love books, because you'll be gone within a year if you don't. It's such a shitty industry. The pay scale is just so low, and these people are doing it for the love, and what they love doesn't make money for the most part. Like there are some amazing books that will make money, but there is just like a lot of eating shit to get through to those guys there. And you can see it taking a toll on these people. You can see that all their events wind up being like significant bacchanals, people drinking all the time, just hooking up with each other, like these like sad trysts because they're dissatisfied with their lives. It's a tough industry. Really and truly, it takes a big toll on a lot of people that are involved in it. And there are some people that I know in it that I really, really like and so forth. But even the people that I really like, I recognize those are not Zach people, like they're not the type of people that will ever see eye to eye. And it's just weird. I've had drinks with marketing guys who cannot stop moaning about having to deal with remaindered stock. Yeah, that's another fucking wonderful aspect of print media, remaindering. God, just like the idea that if books don't sell, the store just gets to send them all back. Imagine if like that's how it worked for other shit, other industries and so forth. Whoever had that genius idea really fucked over the book industry for a long time. But I mean, keep in mind, like the actual act of reading a physical book is a labor. You're selling people a labor. There's like kind of a Tom Sawyer aspect to it right there. And it's like, how'd you like to paint this fence with your imagination? You know what I mean? That's like, think about how difficult it is for me to write this book. like years and years of the act of reading it is in its own way going to be like a fucking feat. Somebody turning all 591 of these pages and concentrating and hallucinating, like visualizing what's going on. This is just like a stepping stone to something, somebody who felt like it could have fucking imagined themselves. But, well, industry rant right there. And I'm not qualified to rant on this industry. It's been many years since I've been deeply involved in publishing. It might have gone in crazy different directions. Like a lot of the people that I knew in it, a lot of that's going to be skewed by my own personal experience of just being like a kind of like an antisocial asshole for the most part, and getting dragged to events that were important to me, but then just being miserable at them because I don't like that kind of socializing with people I don't know. So, yeah, I definitely tend to focus on the dark side of what's going on there. And also, like the fact is, not super successful with writing so far, even though I think the books are really, really solid. I think we try really hard, and I've got a long way to go. Obviously I need to be better than I am, but how many years have you guys seen me doing this shit? And like honestly, you have to like look at it and be like, I'll probably get nowhere with it, but it doesn't really matter if I get nowhere, because I'm so happy when each one of these comes out. It's such like a big accomplishment. And even now, like waking up early, being like, oh, I don't want to fucking do it. We're gonna get through this chapter this morning. Like I'm super sick, super depressed, whatever. We're gonna get through the fucking chapter. We're gonna keep trying, because I'm in too deep now, boys. All right. Get my foot in the door with a perfect woke novella. No, I'm not getting any fucking feet in the door. I'll tell you the other reason why I, like part of it is whatever. I do not play that fucking game. Like I'm not gonna put out anything pandering or anything that I think is topical or fucking capitalizing on some shit on the market. Like it's nice if you, like it would have been great if this book came out before all those fucking Marvel movies shit up superheroes, but I'm still gonna put it out even though I think the glut is almost over. People are getting sick of that shit, but the right to bear arms, but it's called Right to Breathe, and he topples a statue. God, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, like, those aren't my politics, and like the politics that I put into these books are, I don't know. I try to be honest with what I'm doing. Like I'm not trying to pander to people, and I think it's really easy for the vast majority of people to see when somebody is pandering to them, but if the pandering person is saying like the exact thing that you want to hear, you'll kind of just be like, they're pandering, but it's just so nice to be right. You know what I mean? I read an interesting, it's like a Reddit comment earlier today. Somebody said, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you find yourself like often playing the devil's advocate to their opinions, don't do that. And the reason being is that you're creating a rift in your relationship between the two ideas. And it made me really think about like a long relationship I'd had where I always felt like in any discussion we, like somebody brings something up, I'm like, well, the other side, maybe Hitler wasn't so bad and so forth. Almost verbatim, that kind of thing. And especially like young asshole men have this tendency to do that shit because they feel like the other side should hear, they just like arguing for its own sake or whatever, whatever. And it really does tax that relationship with that other person. Because ultimately, I think most people want their friends to agree with them and to be on the same page. And that's like much more important than, arguing for somebody who isn't even there. Which is, if you like to argue, that's great, but a relationship is not a fucking debate club. And I had to think about that too, because usually, just about always, like if I'm in a relationship with somebody, our politics do not align in some pretty significant ways. Well, now we've lost the thread. Yeah. I love to argue. All my relationships are debate clubs. I enjoy an argument too. Obviously, Spathy, but I think right now, like, both of us are like essentially divorced and sad and lonely. So we should maybe think about that shit. Ugh. The other part of it too is like, you want to have a spine. You don't want to be obsequious. And definitely there's a level of why is this person always fucking agreeing with me, where you'll start to become suspicious of somebody who is constantly in agreement with you, as well you should, right? Because if they don't like, there's a lot of people out there where they just don't believe in anything. They just want you to be happy, and that's not a crime, but it's also not sustainable in the long term. You know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to be a doormat forever. Yeah, why am I in this? I'm in a fucking mood this morning right here. I'll tell you why. It's because according to L. Ron Hubbard, I am not a writer of the future. I got the rejection letter yesterday. What? I can't remember if I sent him hawks or if I sent him fucking arms. I bet they would have taken arms. I don't think anybody would take hawks. Oh yeah, Writers of the Future is like this fucking contest that they run all the time, Scientology. And I think I sent them a copy of the Hawks manuscript, and they just, it's a contest too. So, but yeah, like, gotten like a few key rejection letters in the most recent, and like in 3 months from now, I'll take a look at the letter that I just sent out recently, and I'll have no reply back from them because they're like a really tiny house, and I'll be like, fuck. Should work on space tards, like the fucking the audio part of it today. Maybe I'll make that my goal for the day. Anyhow, let's try to get through this chapter. So there are gun stores in New York City. I gotta fix this fucking Wi-Fi. What do we got here? Hold on. Let's go here. I wonder what's going on with the Wi-Fi in that fucking unit. Yeah, there we go. All right. Gun shops in Manhattan. Gunorama. Danforth Avenue, Little Italy. Let's see. All right, so there's a gun store in fucking Little Italy. Yeah, I've walked by here. The Jovino gun shop and police equipment. All right, so glad we didn't leave that in there. $1 million worth of business. Gun factory in Brooklyn, which made Colt. Wow, holy shit! They moved to Bayonne, Jersey. Biggest dealers in the company. Huh, yeah, they were in Serpico. Said to be the oldest. The store closed as a result of the financial hardships from the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, they're fucking done. Yeah. Antique Colt pistols. The Beretta Gallery. Huh. Weird. Yeah, but it's just firearm purposes. I didn't realize that there was a fucking Beretta Gallery up there. Okay. Met with instantaneous feedback. cool. Much better. It's a good edit. I like that. No, we can put that butt clause in. Um, it's stylistic. Yeah. I like that sentence. It's enough to let him sidestep a lot of first-time commander fuck-ups and fake the funk as a natural leader. God. The voice in this story, man. Ought to be in the fucking Louvre. Hell yeah. Hold on. Yeah, so I've walked by that John Jovino store like a bunch of different times. You always look at it and like, I think when you walk by, you're just like, ah, it must just only be stuff for police. What do we got? Yeah, we just cut that out. I'm gonna give you a point for it anyway, though. Mm-hmm. Yep, that is a comma. It's colloquial. By now, it's almost certainly been looted. uh, yeah, hold on. When did that get built? Yeah, when did this get? The Home Depot building. Okay, 2004. Cool. So yeah, that's another spot. It used to not be there. I remember them putting it in, but that must not be possible. Paracord wrapped. God, these nerds with their fucking paracords. All right, cool. Gary's got the army, but not the arms. There's only one gun store in Manhattan, John Giovino in Little Italy. There's only one real gun store in Manhattan, John Giovino in Little Italy. Gary figures it's surely been looted by now. Gary figures it must have been looted by now. They marched to Home Depot on 23rd and 6th, finding it. Gary gives the nod to Robeson, who smiles with 2 missing front teeth. He produces a long-neck screwdriver and a small pry bar from his backpack and sets to work. You're not Rose. Sledgehammers and mauls, rakes and hoes, pipe wrenches and chains. One guy's holding a long-necked drywall hammer in one hand and a garbage can lid in the other. He looks like some kid pretending it. He looks like a kid pretending to be a knight. No, is this Gary versus Duchance? He's like leading this army of bums with like fucking rakes and hoes and yes, this is Gary versus Duchance. I love that you can see where I'm going with this shit. Gary is indeed. Gary's only one of the Jesus characters. There are more. Because I mean, if you think about it, maybe he's already being the Jesus character. There's more to come. Lemon, with the turning water into wine. We're there. Mm-hmm. So the challenge is still open. Guess the Jesus character. Maybe it was my first guess, but honestly, there's like a lot of Jesus flying around in this whole thing here. What if you just had a story where every character is Jesus? Actually, be like kind of a neat prompt for a short story. Like all the Jesuses fighting with each other, trying to be wiser than the other. Ugh. The Jesus of the Jesus is the Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus Christ. That's better. That's better. All right, so let's. In long, solemn lines, Gary's men enter the store. They march down the temporarily stairs escalators. When they return, they're equipped with sledgehammers and mauls, rakes and hoes, pipe wrenches and lengths of chain. Big Al struts onto the street with a long-necked drywall hammer in one hand and a garbage can lid in the other. duh, 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 duh. So there we're doing 1, 2 items, 1, 2 items, 1, 2 items. So that's why there isn't a Oxford comma there. It's structurally the sentence is this and that. Although we do need rakes and hoes, pipe wrenches, and lengths of chain. That's why. It's because it's there. So I will give you a coin comma, but yeah, we're not without reason do we omit that comma there. What's the best way to say this right here? Not wage a war. I like this a lot better. Let's see. Yeah, let's just do that. But I only write texture backgrounds. My audience barely knows how to. Yeah, I wonder, like, are you getting any benefit out of like all this editing stream there? Is it like improving your own writing at all, or are you just helping me because you're nice? Ugh. They don't look like they're dressed for war. Gary's men don't look like they're dressed for war. They look like they're about to renovate a house. But Gary remembers the choking dust of Port Authority. Love this chapter so far. I like the image of all these bums gearing up, right? So one of the things that I want to do in the scenes that follow, because obviously this army is going to march down to Chinatown. I want to have more examples of them like digging people out of rubble and being able to help. We're going to get into in the subsequent chapters why Gary's army is surprisingly effective in the task of tackling the ruins of Chinatown. But let me see. Yeah, so Spathy was just winging it till we reviewed that Space Tards editor, and I have a goal to try and fit my own writing into, so it definitely helped. Yeah, like seeing what a professional editor has to say. Speaking of which, I really need to remember to update that guy, because I told him, like, you know, I promised him, like, hey, like, I got this $1,500 job for you, and I should just let him know, because I wanted to be done by the start of July. But yeah, I'll give him like a progress. He has my fucking website too, so it's not hard for him to like pop in and see like, oh, this asshole isn't even done with this shit. Though honestly, I need to decide whether or not I want to pay this guy, you know, $1,500 to edit this and just try to sell it myself, or if we want to try and sell it to a publisher first, because a publisher will do their own edit, and we don't want to have duplication of effort. This one's like good enough that I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. Let's try to get through the chapter. I like that part where he. Do you think he saw our edit review? That would be something else. I doubt it. Like I wouldn't if I was working with an author. And even if he did see the edit review, I think it was largely positive towards him. I think we found like one thing that we disagreed with. The less complimentary edit review is like all the shit that I found when I was trying to read the audiobook. Thank you for kicking Jewbird, by the way. Why does he fucking spam all the time? That's not the right kind of channel. We're gonna wind up. I don't want to ban him or anything. You know, like he's just fucking. He needs to stop being so crazy in the chat. Anyhow, it'd be nice if he saw the edit review, but at the same time, like I wonder if he would be fucking. If it would be like a positive experience for him, or if he'd just be like these assholes. So probably better that he didn't see it. Yeah. Fucking spamming nonstop. Nice. Nice. Well played there, Spathy. Huh. Yeah, my vision is much better. What the fuck is it? Oh, you know what it is, honestly. It's like the amount that I sleep is how good my vision is. Because I got like a solid 8 hours last night, so. Gary can feel excitement rippling through his men. They all have that good feeling. I have a tool. I can change the world. The men who have seen combat are already starting to get their first whispers of adrenaline. They're all... In some kind of power move, look, I'm unbannable. What, are you just joining like a bunch of clients to the whole fucking thing? What's going on like that? Some kind of power move. No, I think he's just fucking crazy. That's all. Whatever, you know. I don't ban people for being crazy. I'll have some words. I'll try to sort him out a little bit. He's a little too fucking crazy. You know what I mean? I just don't want him to like ruin everybody else's good time, but not like anybody else is really chatting. We're busy Eddie. Yeah, they're holding up their face. Oh, wait, actually, did we fix that sentence? That's better. Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for drawing my attention there. It was a part of another sentence before. Yeah, it's like, it was unwieldy. Like, the whole chapter doesn't quite need a rewrite, but it's hinky. Like, I hope the editor does some strong work on this one here. All right. No, I think I called it Home Depot because I wanted to use the pun homeless depot, but I don't think we can work it in anywhere. Oh, it's a shame. No. Fuck. Mm. All right, fall in. Yeah, that's what we want. Alright, I think I'm gonna italicize the roll your window down. Alright, so let's, when was the last time that we, read? I think this is where we were at, right there. Gary can feel excitement rippling through his men. They all have that good feeling. I have a tool. I can change the world. The men who have seen combat are already starting to get their first whispers of adrenaline. Everyone is afraid of what's waiting for them in Chinatown, but they don't want the others to see it. They cling to their faith in Gary, holding it up as a shield against fear. Some Jesus. Gary tries to squelch the feeling that this is a terrible idea, and he's going to get everyone killed. But as he plumbs their thoughts, he realizes they're already expecting to die. They don't mind. A few even welcome it. They just want it to be for something, to have a purpose, to be good for something again. Yeah, that's awkward. They don't mind. They just want it to be for something. They want to have a purpose, to be good for something again. 100 men, ready to die for Gary. Ready to die for Gary Polk. The feeling is electrifying and terrifying. The feeling is electrifying and terrifying at the same time. His ego soars, responsibility wrenches it back to earth, and the whole thing makes him want to throw up. What the fuck has he gotten himself into? A lone police cruiser pulls up on 6th Avenue as the army assembles on the sidewalk. Officer Olson is riding shotgun. He looks at the busted door, the ranks of scruffy men, and the shiny new tools. His mouth moves behind the window. Even if Gary couldn't read his mind, he'd know exactly what he's thinking. Oh, fuck. Fall in, Gary barks like a drill sergeant. The loose gaggle of men forms into orderly rows. The guys who don't know how to stand information take their cues from the ones who do. I think we named the driver, too. Okay, cool. Yeah. I think at the wheel, Officer Sanchez, I think he was named Sanchez in the... he's named in a later chapter. At the wheel, Officer Sanchez was just about to floor it the fuck out of here, but this is too weird. Gary walks over to the cruiser with his cane and makes the roll your window down gesture. The cop is curious enough to do it. The fuck is this? Officer Olson demands as the window squeaks its way down. These are my guys. I like that I'm making like it's got like a window roller in there. Like how fucking old would this cop cruiser be? I don't care. I like it. These are my guys. We're going downtown to try and help out. Help out with what? Fucking landscaping? Officer Olson has gotten less hours of sleep than he's killed men in the last 48 hours. I was at Port Authority. It's got to be 10 times worse down there, Gary explains. It's 100 times worse. It's 100 times worse, Olson says. The memories going through his head are nothing Gary ever wants to be a part of. How the fuck did it get so bad so fast? Olsen eyes the formation of homeless men on the sidewalk. As ragged as they look, they're the first people he's seen in hours that aren't panicked. They have a purpose. They're calm. They want to help. It's more than he can say for the rest of the city. Okay, Olsen makes up his mind. Let's make it a parade then. Olsen decides. Let's make it a parade then. Follow the cruiser. Oh. Yeah. We named him Martinez, not Sanchez. So let's... Trying to sound surer than he feels. Okay, Olsen decides. Let's make it a parade. Follow the cruiser. The whole army is beaming with childish glee. Bound for battle. I kind of like towards battle a little bit better, but we only need one M in him. I love this end of the chapter. Oh shit! Oh, it's the mailman chapter. I like that. As we're getting towards the conclusion of this novel, our characters are like really turning on the charm, and that's like an important fixture. I want it to remind readers like, hey, this is why you give a shit about these people. Like, they're not without their good points. And it's just reminding it after all the terrible shit that they've done. Like this chapter, General Gary is fucking dope. All right, so that's chapter 77. And what do we get here? It's not too bad, just 2 hours to work through this guy. Not too much rewriting. It's a good chapter overall. It's a great, I really like that concept of the idea of him. Oh, but it's only 1,000 words, so we got a long way to go, compañeros. So what do we got? 1,009 words, and then that took 202. Yeah, I like that we added some military shit into there. one of the things that we're going to get into is that what's the fucking deal? We're going to get into a little bit about the orderliness of the military and the fucking police mind, which are important things. All right, so Spathy is almost a 300. That's fucking amazing right there. So it's 293. And then Logic made it all the way to 210 since we last checked. And then Brongulus is still at 21. I don't know if Brongulus will ever return. Well, thank you so much for your help with day 82. Only have 10 chapters remaining. I need to like be eating right and exercising like a little bit more. A few of like the troubling work things aren't going to be as big of a deal. What is HTH? Hoof? How do you have? I have no idea. Have to hump is what I'm guessing. Alright, so I think this is chapter 78 right here. This is your master plan to get out of the city? Oh, fucking loving it. Mailman. Oh yeah. Alright, so hope this helps and happy to help. Alright, yeah, thank you, Spathy. So we are down to just 92 pages remaining in this whole crazy... How the fuck? I don't know how we have so many chapters left. It seems like I could end this in like one chapter almost. But, you know, we still need to close the threads for a bunch of... Oh, that's why. Like a bunch of those chapters are Aftermath characters. So we're not far from the climax of the action, but there is, I think there's significant epilogue in this, and that's why it's there's 100 pages left. Because we do try to fill in all those fucking blanks. This is not one of those stories where I'm just like, and then, you know, it just stops here. Enjoy your, like, write your own conclusion. No, this one has, like, conclusions. We will never write a sequel for this fucking book. Yeah, if a sequel comes out for this, it's because, like, I really need the money super bad. Like, I'm gonna die. You know, I have, that's no honest man can pay at that point. Because it really does not need or deserve a sequel. Anyhow, let me get out of here and have a